Hello, everyone. Today is October 14th, 2021. I'm here with Greg Devlin. Greg is a student of life. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Krish. How's it going?
You're welcome. It's going good. How's it going for you?
It's good. I'm just had some dinner and enjoying my non-work life at the moment.
Nice, nice. I just had dinner too. Eh, How long have you been in your non-work life?
Um, I would say like a week and a half, but I was working pretty minimally for the last, I don't know, 5 months or so.
Okay, what happened 5 months ago?
Well, I quit my job and then I came to visit the US. And then when I went back, things switched to online. So I was working just maybe 10 hours a week. And then it picked up a bit more about to 20 hours a week. And that was like the most it picked back up, but that was pretty average. So yeah, I got back to about 20 hours a week, which I still consider very relaxing lifestyle, but now I'm back to zero. So yeah.
Wow. And what job did you quit 5 months ago?
I was a teaching job in Taiwan, so I was teaching English to mostly kindergarteners.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was that was the last job I was teaching that I quit, was teaching kindergarteners and then maybe some elementary school kids in the afternoon. And then when I quit and came back to California for 3 weeks, and then I went back. And when I came back, I was teaching just elementary school and yeah.
Okay. What was the reason you quit?
I quit because actually I was gonna move in Taiwan from a city I was in called Taoyuan, which is about an hour south of Taipei. So I was going to start a life in Taipei, had a job lined up and everything. And then I realized I wanted to leave Taiwan in the next year. I think kind of some of the political stuff uh, kind of made me feel that I maybe I'd have to leave at any point. So I wasn't really ready to put a bunch of money down on a security deposit because Taipei is exponentially more expensive.
Really, it's an expensive city.
Oh yeah, it's almost California prices, even with food and just lifestyle and housing. Housing over there, where I was at, I had a three-bedroom apartment, huge balcony, huge rooftop in downtown, and it cost me about 500 US a month. And that was all to
Oh,
myself. The same apartment in Taipei might be like 2000 US, so about 4 times more.
wow. 500 is a great price.
Oh yeah. I had it all. I had a room for like gaming and my computer. I had my bedroom. I had a room for mixing music and a huge living room, big kitchen, two balconies. Yeah, it was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
How long did you live in that place?
That apartment, I lived there for maybe 3 months. I lived real close to there, but in like a shoebox before. And it wasn't until I did quarantine on my trip back. I had to do 2 weeks in quarantine in that shoebox, and I was like, this is too small.
Got it. And you
Yeah.
moved out?
I moved out, and it was like, uh, I don't know, 200 US dollars more for a massive apartment. So, yeah, definitely worth it.
Nice. How how was teaching kindergartners? I mean, Taiwanese kindergartners at that.
uh, their base for English is really small, I would say, at least where I was at. I think in Taipei, the kids are really smart and really, they come from wealthier families, so they're just learning English, it seems, from such a young age. But where I was at, the kids' English was pretty poor. So with kindergarteners, you just really got to have fun, play games. It's more of a exposure to a foreigner job where they're learning that there's people that aren't like them. But yeah, that job's great because you're just showered in unconditional love. You walk on campus, and I taught half the school, and all my students would come to me, teacher Greg, and just like kind of cling to my leg and attack me. And even the other half of the school, I didn't know, they would scream my name. It was like, you're a celebrity over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But like for the teaching part, it's not so, it doesn't feel so much like teaching. It seems more like just like daycare and playing with them. And but that's just for one. I taught a few different schools when I was there, so I got a mix of it all, really.
Okay. What
Yeah.
was the reason you ended up in Taiwan? Did you choose to go there?
Yeah, I chose to go there. So basically, where I was at in my life in California, um, switching career paths a few times and kind of moving back with my parents. They're giving me timelines when I got to move out by and find a proper job. And I kind of hit that timeline where I hated the job I was working. It just wasn't meant for me. And so I quit that. And then they're like, all right, well, it's kind of towards that time you got to move out. And I wasn't just going to take a job that uh, would pay the bills and get me out of the house, because I don't think that would put me further in life. I think it would just be like a step even back.
Yes.
And maybe I'd get comfortable working a job I didn't like. And then I don't know, it just didn't feel right for me. So I applied to like a million jobs, didn't really go anywhere in terms of the job search. So then I thought, oh, because my brother had been teaching in Taiwan at that time for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And part of that was I never had the money or the free time to go visit him, because it costs $1,000 for a flight probably, and to take time off for a few weeks. Most jobs will be like, well, why don't you just quit and come back if we have space. So I ended up saying, oh, I can knock two birds out with one stone. I'll go over there, spend some of my life with him, and then make some money and uh, have a job and be independent from my parents.
Nice. And did you gain that independence? How'd you?
Yeah, I mean, I was living on my own, and paying my own bills, and I paid off all my college debt while I was there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you. So I came back here with no debt and just kind of like a fresh life. I don't have any car payments or anything I really have to pay for. So my thought was like, oh, I could be a bum if I wanted to. No one's looking for me for money. So, but
No.
not the life I want.
Nice. Nice. But that's a good feeling to know that you don't have, payments to banks or anything. So
Hmm.
like if you wanted to get a house or a car or whatever, no one's you don't have any other obligation.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's where I'm at now, is like kind of looking for work, and I don't have a car, so just using the family car, but I definitely got to get one, because unlike Taiwan, America, you have to have a car.
Yes, especially Southern California.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm lucky that my parents pretty much go everywhere. They have two cars, and they pretty much go everywhere together, and I have a spare car. But if I didn't, I would be having to bum from my friends for rides and stuff like that.
Nice. That's nice that your parents are helping you out.
Yeah, for sure.
Is your brother still in Taiwan?
Yeah, so he's married there.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been there like 6 years now. He bought a house.
What
Uh,
city?
s- it's in a city, an area called Qingpu, which is right next to their high-speed rail. So you can get, it was nice because I lived with him my last week. I was in Taiwan because I moved out of my apartment. And then like walking distance to the high-speed rail. So you could go to Taipei in like 20 minutes. You can go down south. You could literally go to the southern tip of the island in maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, so you
Okay.
could you could travel the whole island very conveniently.
Nice.
Yeah, but he's been there for about 6 years. I don't think he has any plans of coming back. unless
Wow.
politics with China get bad. But I think he's gonna stay there probably his whole life. It's a comfortable life for him. Yeah.
That's exciting and he married a Taiwanese national.
Yeah, yeah. He married his wife Petra, who was a sweetheart. And when I was there, I felt like I had two moms in Taiwan. So it was like I always had someone looking after me.
Nice. That's a great feeling to go to a foreign nation like that, but have your brother and then have his wife there too.
Yeah, they were always on my case for like uh governmental things I needed to take care of, like my residency cards and my license and my leave, like anything I needed to take care of. They were always on my case for that, kind of holding me accountable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. When did you end up like what month did you leave?
To come back here,
No, to go to Taiwan.
I went there in June 1st of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so it
So,
was like right before COVID, like I don't know, about a half a year before COVID hit.
okay. And
Yeah.
how was experiencing COVID over there?
That was the place to be. Really.
Really?
Yeah, COVID basically didn't get there. I'm not exactly sure, but I think they had like when SARS was going around, they got hit pretty bad. And that was, I don't know how long ago that was, but basically this time around, they were like, we need to be prepared if anything, like a virus happens again. So essentially, there was no COVID there for the whole time I was there. The first time it came was when I was actually coming to California in May to visit. So as my experience with COVID there was no experience. It was basically we had to wear masks on the MRT,
What's the MRT?
like the metro.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had to wear masks on the metro, but that's not a big deal. Um, I think I'm not sure I don't think when we had to like register for events like on Google Docs and give our information and stuff like that, but we were still in the clubs like every weekend. You could go out and
Nice.
enjoy life uh normally. But then when I came here, it was funny, as soon as I came here to visit in May, that's when basically there was like a pilot, I think like a New Zealand pilot maybe. Uh he flew in and broke quarantine to go see his mistress and then spread COVID or something like that. Or there was all these guys that went to like massage parlors or something like that. And basically there was an outbreak, and then but the highest the cases ever got in Taiwan is about 200 cases, like
Wow.
active like new cases per day or whatever. Um, so still pretty low, but even at that time, there was like a soft lockdown where schools were all shut down. Schools went to online, which sucks because parents use schools as daycare, really.
Yes.
And yeah, for a while it was pretty unpleasant, but it was really bad when I was in California, and then I got back and I quarantined for 2 weeks, and that was most of the lockdown. But then it was kind of a bit of a culture shock coming back to Taiwan because basically it wasn't the country I had left. It was like, wow, everyone's all super scared, and we have to behave certain ways now. Like shops were closed. It was just weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is that is weird that it happened while you were gone.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I got back and it got a little better, it slowly got better, and then we were able to start having like events again. And but it was weird, even when we got down to like zero cases for like 2 consecutive weeks, or we'd have like one case pop up. People were still like super strict about the rules, and they're like, Asian countries are super like, let's listen to what the government tells us, obey.
Yes.
And you have to wear like a mask outside while riding a bike. And I'm just like, I was really never rocking a mask outside, and people were looking at me like I was crazy. And But I didn't really care because I was like, this is stupid. There's like no COVID in this country. I'm gonna use my brain and do what I think's right for me.
Nice. And it's
Yeah.
that's a huge culture shock. I went to Thailand once and I didn't realize like Asian countries are super pro government, listen to the government,
Oh yeah.
follow the rules. It's like the polar opposite of here.
Yeah, and where I learned that comes from is you see it in the educational system. When you're teaching the little kids, they're doing rote memorization and essentially copying exactly what you're telling them. Like, so they're not really doing much free thinking or creative stuff. So most people you get are growing up to be robots and workers, and then they just do whatever the government tells them. Like I remember one of the last classes I taught in Taiwan before coming back here, because I was getting fed up with the whole copying and rote memorization. So I was like, let's just take out a piece of paper. We're gonna draw some pictures today. And they were learning about like morning routine. So they knew like 6 words or six like phrases of like brush your teeth, comb your hair, yada yada yada. So I was like, draw the first thing you do when you wake up. And they just looked at me like completely blank. Like a couple kids drew stuff, and then the rest were like looking at each other like, what do we do? What do we do? And then it isn't until you give them an example or like tell them, okay, just draw this, that they would start working. And then they just be copying each other. And it got frustrating as a teacher, because it's like, I don't care if you can memorize anything. I don't find that to be a useful skill. I want you to be able to think for yourself.
Yes. Dang, that's
Yeah.
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I always like really appreciated my Taiwanese friends, like the grown-ups that were the super creative ones, like my artist friends or DJ friends, because I'm like, wow, you guys actually have a creative mentality, and that's not something that's taught. That's something you kind of have to tap into.
Yes, to get that even like against the grain of having an education system that prizes memorizing and being a part of the system, it's that makes it a lot harder because here it's like we're prized for or like celebrated for being an individual or doing something out of the box or doing something creative. So, did you get that warning before you went in, or did you just kind of gradually realize that?
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah. And like I said, it would just get frustrating because even your like co-teacher, the Taiwanese teacher, would be like, it doesn't matter, just like let them copy this down. They'd say write it on the board. I was like, why would I write it on the board? Then they're not going to actually think for themselves. It's like, doesn't matter, they just got to write it down. I was like, oh, come on.
Wow,
Yeah.
dang. But now that you're back, you don't want to teach
No,
anymore.
no, it wasn't necessarily a career path. It was more just like a life experience I wanted to get. uh if I were to teach again, maybe I teach like art or something like that, but nothing like where it's just memorization. Kids take a lot of patience.
Yes.
You can't like there's definitely some teachers that were in there. I'm like, why are you a teacher? You have to like kids to also be a teacher if you're teaching kids. Like I had some teachers that just like, you're like, you hate kids. Like, no, I don't. You hate kids. well the
Wow.
way well the way you behave looks like you hate kids because your patience level is so small.
Were most of those teachers Taiwanese
The ones that didn't like the kid.
or any of the other ones?
Well, you pretty much always taught with a Taiwanese teacher,
Okay.
depending on which school you're at and how they're set up. But no, they would for the English, there'd always be foreign teachers of English speaking countries. Like
Okay.
like there'd be some people that were like teaching from non-English speaking countries, but that's like, I don't even know if that's legal over there.
Got it.
So there'd be like a lot of Canadians. There's a ton of South Africans
Really?
there.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I only have like one South African friend in California. So to go over there and have a bunch of South African friends. It was an interesting experience. Um, and then where else? I felt like almost as a minority as an American, at least in my friend group, because there was like Australian, New Zealand, South African, um, England, but like very little Americans, I felt like.
It's kind of strange that like Americans aren't as international, or we do have an international presence, but not like English people. Or
Mm.
because when I mean, I'm sure you recognize that you're 2 years outside of the country, but like when you're in America, we pretty much only focus on what's going on in America.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean, I think the whole world kind of does that. That's that's something I learned when I was over there too. It's like everyone was so involved in American politics because I was there during the elections and all that. And yeah, it was like it seemed like everyone. It seems like America is the world. That's what it felt like.
really, even in
Yeah,
Taiwan,
yeah.
wow.
Because I mean, American politics is important to them because they're like, oh, who's gonna support Taiwan if China tries to strong arm them? You know?
Yes. And they got a pretty good, they're still getting some pretty good support right now by the from the US.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that, but well, my brothers, because it seemed like it was like every other week, it was like China is talking about invading Taiwan. But my brother's wife, I asked her, I'd send her articles. They're like, yeah, they've been saying this for 100 years. So I'm not sure if like the biggest difference is now that we have social media, that like basically it's in your face more. But I think that threat's kind of always been there, and they kind of want to just stay in the shadow and be like, we could if we wanted to. But I guess Taiwan's biggest value is like they produce like chips, like computer chips, basically for the world,
Yes.
and like they're like the biggest provider for like Apple and all that. So basically, if they were to mess with that, I don't know. I think everyone kind of wants to be on China's side because they don't want to lose that supply as well. But I don't know. It's difficult politics.
It's difficult politics for sure. And yeah, way out of like you probably know a decent amount of it since you were there, but like that Taiwan China relationship is probably really old.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's like I was always confused because there's like a political party there that still wants to like kind of be a part of China,
Oh,
and
really?
and it just seems like why would you want to do that? You have your independence from China, and I don't know why they want the help of China because that doesn't seem like a life they want. Like I don't know, it's just not a life I would want to live. But then again, it's not my country, so
What are Taiwanese people like?
to foreigners, they're super friendly. It seemed like they were pretty friendly to each other too, but they were always like, super interested when they see a foreigner. Where I live, there weren't too many foreigners, so when they see me, they're like you'd see them whispering like, "Oh, there's a foreigner." And then the other person would look at you, and I'd kind of always mess with them. And like if I saw someone talking about me, I'd just look at them like catch them looking at me and stuff. Um, but in Taipei, there's foreigners everywhere, so they're way more accustomed to it, but the people are super friendly, super hospitable. I had some close Taiwanese friends. I think most of my friends were foreigners when I was there, but I did have some Taiwanese friends that I got really close with that I'll still talk to probably the rest of my life. But yeah, super nice, and want to have a good time, and yeah.
Nice. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, if your brother wasn't there, you wouldn't have moved there, probably.
Yeah, I don't think so because I was like, oh, maybe I'll go abroad, and I asked him about like Korea because he taught in Korea for 2 years as well before that.
Wow.
And and so like when I was asking, I was like, well, I don't want to kind of just go to a country where I don't know anyone or know what's going on. So I think that was probably the reason I ended up going there.
And so your brother has been in East Asia for 8 years now?
Yeah. Yeah, so
Wow.
it's yeah, that's kind of why I had to go out there because it's like it seemed like he had been out of my life for so long. You know, you can only FaceTime and text so much before you're like, all right, well, I guess I'll see you every 4 years.
Yes. Did you ever go to East Asia before that?
No, I had only been to India. I went to India, I don't know what year, I think 2017. I went there for a month to like do yoga teacher training. But I don't, yeah, that's East Asia, I guess, but most people wouldn't think of India when they think of Asia.
No. How was that month in India? And what city were you in?
I was in Rishikesh, which is like the yoga capital of the world. Um, Basically where I was at in life, I was teaching, or no, I wasn't teaching. I was working at a drug rehab. I did that for like 2 years and kind of taking in all that negative energy all day.
Yes.
If you're not dealing with that properly, it kind of gets to you. And I got to the point where I was like, I can't do this any longer. So I quit my job and basically used that month as a retreat. I wasn't too serious about the actual certification or like the about using the teaching for my future, but it was more like, oh, I can have a place to stay for a month and uh, have yoga classes, whatever, 5 times a day, or I don't even know how many times we did it, but that was great. Um, it was really hot. I met a lot of cool people. The Indian people are like, they're some of the poorest people with the richest hearts. Like there was one shop owner, we'd go to his place every day, he'd give us tea, and he didn't want us to buy anything. He's like, I just want you guys to hang out. And he's like, next time you come to India, you stay with, they truly mean it. They're like, next time you come, you're staying with me. Don't get a hotel. There was even like an Indian guy in Taiwan who had the local Indian restaurant. And every time I'd walk by, he's like, come in. He would just feed me for free. They're just like, they're
Really?
such, yeah, such nice people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's was the retreat mostly with Indian people or were you with?
The people leading it were all Indian. But the students, I think there were probably like 30 students in my class, and there was like four guys and a bunch of girls, which was always nice. Um,
Yes.
but no, they were from all over the world. So now, like on my Facebook or Instagram, I have uh like contacts all around the world that I still talk to. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Damn. 1 month, quit your job, and then 1 month in
1
India.
month in India. Yeah, then I came back and was, still in that like, okay, I don't know. I think since I graduated, I've been like, what do I want to do that doesn't suck so bad, and
Yes.
pays well. That's been probably my biggest struggle in life. And then I like kind of taught meditation and taught yoga at the rehabs again, but that wasn't like a job that could get me uh, independent again. So I had to quit that and get like some sales roles.
Okay. And that was in between India and Taiwan.
Yeah, yeah, I did some sales roles, uh, different sales roles. Then the last sales role is basically like, I need to not do this anymore. So I quit. As soon as I found out I got my job in Taiwan, they were like, we don't know when we'll start you, but you're hired. And so as soon as I figured that out, I had a little bit of money saved up. So I just quit my job. It was April Fool's Day. I went in there, was like, I know it's April Fool's Day, but I quit. And they're like, yeah, we saw this coming. Uh, and then I had basically right before Taiwan, I had about 2 months. And for those 2 months, I had a friend that had a vegan food vending business. So we would just travel from music festival to music festival, like in his RV, and just sell vegan food at festivals. And that was like, oof, that was like the best time of my life. It's so fun.
Really?
Yeah, just because
What?
it's like you have really healthy, yummy food. And when you're a food vendor, you just go up to the other food vendors like, hey, this is what we have. do you want to trade for what you have? It's like, yeah, sure. And you just, when you're in food service, there's something about it. You just like makes all these people that are like little grumpy happy, and then you're just like dancing and making food, and you go to all these festivals for free. And I just my tribe just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It was super fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Sean actually told me that he saw you at a festival in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, that was what was that one? Lucidity. Yeah, it was like
Yes.
the funniest thing ever. So I wasn't working for my friend at that one because he didn't get into that festival, but my other friend was basically like, "Hey, Lucidity's still looking for um it's still looking for volunteers." And so I volunteered for them, and they're basically giving us the lowdown. They're like, "Hey, so guys, we're going to take you on a big truck up the hill so you guys can work parking." And I think I just hear like behind me is like Greg Devlin. And I looked back and I saw Sean, and I literally, like, Sean fell off the face of the earth. Like, I hadn't seen him in maybe 5 years, and he didn't keep in contact with anyone. I think he had to just take care of himself and just like kind of dip. So I hadn't seen him in so long, and I love Sean. I just went, ah! I screamed as loud as I can for like 30 seconds, and he was just like, "Oh my God!" And just gave him the biggest hug, and got to hang out with him for the rest of the weekend. It's funny because I think he went by himself, and he just like showed up kind of after the festival started. So he just picked a camping spot like that was already with full of people. And like he met all the people that he was surrounded by. And those people were also my friends from like some event I went to in LA. So it was just like super weird that he had found that spot with like my friends already.
Oh, nice. So
Yeah.
then when you met up, then it was easy for them
Yeah.
to connect.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Was but that wasn't with your friend with the
No, it's
vegan
different.
food truck? What
Yeah,
were you
yeah.
guys selling?
They're called Buddha bowls. Basically, it was like it had a grain base of like quinoa, rice, some other grain, and then it had like beans in that base. And then on top, it was just like a bunch of shredded veggies together, and this like Buddha sauce that was super good, and like roasted walnuts on top, and
Dude, I've eaten
uh,
this
yeah,
at
it's
Lightning in a Bottle.
yeah, we were there. We were there? The one in Bakersfield.
Bakersfield?
Yeah,
No.
that was 2019, but I'm sure he was at that one too. They're called bite bowls.
Okay, and they're massive.
Yeah, it's a pretty big operation.
For like festival truck food, I just remember this like massive thing of grain and
Yeah.
sauce and veggies and just being like, look how much more food veganism can feed
Yeah.
for like $15 than if you were to
A
get
hot
meat.
dog or whatever.
Yeah, if you get a hot dog, it's like a quarter of the amount of calories.
Yeah, and it felt good like giving people proper nutrition at
Yes.
festivals because a lot of the time people are not getting much sleep, taking drugs. And so for us to be like, hey, I don't know if you're vegan or not, but this is going to give you the energy you need to keep dancing for 8 hours at a time.
Yes. Yes, some clean energy in a place where they might not be doing such clean things.
Yeah. I'd say the only downside to it is there's a lot of fiber in that food.
There oh yeah. You have to be careful.
Yeah.
Oh man. Jeez.
Yeah. Not, you don't want to use festival porta potties if you don't have to.
No, no. But then I mean you have to eventually. I
Oh
mean
yeah. I
it's
call
a
those the I call those the portal potties.
the portal potties.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
like I don't know if you're taking some psychedelic or something and you go in there, you're like, you feel like you're in there for like two
Oh,
hours in a different world.
got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Portal potties.
yeah,
Those are so much fun. Festivals.
yeah. So actually, we went to Lightning in a Bottle. It was May, and I left June like first. So like May, the mid of May, we went to Lightning in a Bottle. I was out of my house for 18 days straight. It was like went to this camping and set up and tear down takes like a couple days before and after. So I went to Lightning in a Bottle. We tore down, hit up downtown LA to like, there's this like farmers market that I don't think most people know about this, but you can go buy like bulk vegetables for like pennies. Like it's so cheap. And that's what like vendors and restaurants do. And it just blew my mind. I was like, how are people starving? Like they're gonna go buy McDonald's for $10, but you could buy like $10 worth of veggies and it's so much food. So we
Which part
loaded
of
up,
LA was that?
I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to ask my friend if you're interested, but yeah, it was like, I don't know, 3 years ago. But yeah, so we loaded up the RV with a ton of vegetables and everything we needed for the next festival, and then we drove straight to EDC. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and then we did EDC. EDC was like one of the first like more non-conscious festivals that we were doing, but it was like a good paid gig for him, so we ended up doing it, and EDC was super fun for me. And that was the week before I went to Taiwan, so
Wow.
it was
What
a
a
good
way to,
send off.
yeah.
The only heartbreaking part about it was like, especially with Lib, like the crew we had at Lib, um, that was like the first time I felt like I had found my family, my tribe. And then it was like, oh, this is everything you've been looking for since you've been here. All right, well, see you later. Good luck.
Yes.
uh,
Damn. That's
yeah.
kind of a sad
Is that,
thing.
I mean, yeah, I'll get into how Taiwan left too. It's like, it just seems that how it goes. And, but it's funny because when I came back, uh, my friend called me, what, 2 nights ago? And he's like, we need two more people for EDC this year.
Oh,
And
that's in
so,
like next weekend, isn't it?
yeah, so I'm flying out on Monday and I'm gonna go work EDC with another group. This one will be more of like a working paid gig than before. It was like more of a work trade. This one will be more of a paid gig. So, but I'm just stoked to get out of the parents' house for a week
Yes.
and get back into the music festivals because that's like, I feel like it's just so much fun.
It's so much fun. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna get older, but I just don't see us not going to music festivals.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It
In
what
Taiwan, like my group of friends were all like DJs, and just the music scene was really where I found my group of friends. And we had people over 40 still going hard with us. So
really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
How is the music and nightclub scene in Taiwan?
Yeah, so I was more into the underground scene.
Oh
There
wow.
was some big like EDM clubs and stuff, which I would love to go to. There's always like beautiful girls, there's fun like pop culture music going on, and it's super fun. Like I said, they treat foreigners super well. They're super interested, and they're like, yeah, let's go. But my group of friends never were into that, so I never really got to experience at those like big kind of like, I don't know what you'd imagine a club would be like bottle service and like EDM kind of clubs. But the clubs I
Yes.
went to were like um, the underground scene. So it was like techno, house, deep house,
Nice.
stuff like that. Stuff I like to listen to more. But there was like mainly two clubs. One was called Pawn Shop and one was called B1. Uh, but yeah, it was super fun. We'd stay there and we'd be like, B1 is underneath the first floor, so you'd walk downstairs, and it'd be like 7 a.m. when we're like crawling up the stairs, and
Oh my God.
the sun's out already, and like calling a cab, like, why
Is
is
this
this
in
done?
the city that you're in? You
That's in Taipei, which is where all the
okay.
action is. Yeah,
All the actions in Taipei.
yeah. I mean, the action worth going to. Where I lived was kind of like I don't know, like there's like more gangsters in that area, and
Oh wow.
uh, it's funny because my one apartment I lived in, basically my back window, when I did my tour, I was like, oh look, I have no view. It's facing the building next to me. I was like, I guess that'll be good because there'll be no sound, like no traffic noises, and there was a nightclub literally in that alleyway. So it was like every night I'd be asleep, I'd wake up at maybe like I think it was 3 a.m. and I would just hear people screaming, like drunk girls and people getting in fights and the cops coming, and that was like every night.
Every night, like even weekday nights?
It sucked, yeah. It was miserable.
Dang. Wow. In the
Yeah.
alley? This club was not even in the
It
building?
was no, so it was like the alleyway, basically the alleyway went like this, and then there was a street right here, and it was right on the corner.
Okay.
But like I
Got
said,
it.
that area was kind of more gangster, and gangsters in Taiwan are not like dangerous. They're not like, oh, I'm scared of this person. Like I think they do like more gambling stuff. So if you owe them money, then they might be more aggressive. But for the most part, they're pretty friendly people as well. But like the cops would come and they know this is like a probably a gangster run club, so they would like the cops wouldn't do anything. They'd sit there for like an hour trying to get these people to stop fighting, and they're just yelling at each other. I'm like, I'm at the point where I'm like, would y'all start punching each other in the face so this can end?
Yes. Oh,
But
wow.
they literally just screamed at each other for hours on end, like Bloody Mary, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna go down there and start whooping some ass. You guys don't be quiet.
Dude, wow.
Yeah.
That's Dude, that's the type of stuff that does not go down here. Unless maybe LA. But
I mean, you always get bar fights. That's kind of something that always goes down. But
that's
uh,
true. But you don't get like the 3 a.m.,
oh
7
no,
a.m.
because bars end at 2. You
Yes.
might have to deal with a little BS, but the cops here, like you're afraid of cops. In
Yes.
Taiwan, like it was something I had to get used to in Taiwan, because it was like I'd be like driving my scooter, walking on the street, and I'd see a cop, and my first reaction would be like, fuck the police. But the police are super nice there. They're like super helpful. They're not ever trying to get you in trouble. Like I got pulled over like 10 times for like running red lights, doing illegal turns, speeding, whatever. And you take off your helmet, they're like, oh, it's a foreigner. Sorry, we pulled you over. You can go.
Really?
Yeah, I got out of most of my tickets.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do they carry on in Taiwan?
I don't think so. I know guns are illegal in Taiwan, uh, but I'm not sure. Maybe. It's a good question. I didn't notice.
That changes the dynamic a lot.
Yeah. I never felt like unsafe in Taiwan. Never. Like, and as soon as I came back, I like went visited some friends in Long Beach. I parked my car and I was like instantly like, oh yeah, I gotta watch my back out here.
Yeah, dude. This place is actually pretty dangerous in a lot
Yeah,
of
for sure.
like I went to England and I was like this place is incredibly safe. And yeah, because we have a lot of guns everywhere.
Yeah, and just like a lot of like
Yes.
mental people, just like
Yes.
you never know what you're gonna get here.
No, you never know. It's like, yeah, a lot of were there any homeless people in Taiwan?
Yeah, but nothing like here. Like you'd see the same like five around the downtown area, and they're like still eating and sleeping around, but it's not like never was never begging. Like you get in California, you get people that are like look normal, that are just like, hey, what's up? Excuse me, can I have some money? And you're just like, what? What? No, go away.
Yes.
Uh, over there, they were like, I'm homeless. It's fine. Like, it's just what I want to do. And I don't know. They never like bothered me or anything.
Okay.
It didn't seem like anything like it is out here for sure.
It's kind of crazy out here.
The amount of homelessness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know. It always confused me, but it's at the same time, it's like if you were going to be homeless, you might as well do it in Southern California next to the beach.
That's true. That's true.
And maybe if
Next,
you're begging, there's a good amount of money here to maybe get from people, but at the same time, I don't know. You could try and start a life up in a place that doesn't cost so much.
It's yeah, it's tough because those people are like you said, there's a lot of mental illness and like that probably stops them from getting anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And like you can give them as much money as you want, but that, until there's someone takes them in and gets them in a program to where they're like, oh, I can work a job and get, I don't know, maybe some housing and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to get on your feet.
Yeah, it is. It's even if there is a way, it can seem impossible from that perspective or that situation.
Yeah, and the funny thing is like they're actually probably, with how much debt people have these days, they're probably actually richer than some of these people
Seriously,
driving around in cars.
dude. Yes. Oh man. That's that's no joke. I read a book that one time said like Donald Trump at one point in the 90s was 92 million or something dollars in debt.
Yeah.
And then you look into a like person who sleeps on the street and you're just like they're
You're
92 million dollars richer than me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you can still have all these I don't know, tangible things and still be in such debt. It's just confusing.
It's very confusing. It's crazy that dynamic of like debt, but then still being able to make purchases and take on more debt with credit cards.
Yeah, I don't get all that. It's like you have to have credit. You have to have credit to say to like get a house or any of that stuff. But it's like, what about like college and paying for your cars and like there's got to be other ways to prove you can't even like buy a house like I don't know if you have all the cash and stuff. And they're like, no,
Oh,
we want you to have credit line.
yes. And the price can change or I mean, if you have all cash, yes, but the amount of loans you can get changes based off of that and it's kind of a weird system.
You know, yeah. There's a lot of parts about America I didn't miss. That's for sure.
Do people use credit cards in Taiwan?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, but I didn't know too many people like in crippling debt from like shopping and stuff like that. I don't know. Here they're like, you want to go buy McDonald's? Like, would you like the McDonald's card? You'll get $500 cash on your card if you buy it. It's like what? And some people are just buying credit cards everywhere.
Yes. Yes. Dude, it's good that you got away from that culture and you're able to recognize that. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't. And
I
you,
feel like I feel like just like getting out of debt is like the first step of breaking out of the matrix, really.
yes,
Because you're just pretty much, we go to school because we're promised to get a good job if you go to school, and then you're just like $20,000, $30,000 in debt. And now what do you have to do? You have to work. Like right now, I
yes,
don't I don't have to work. I'm fortunate enough that my parents are letting me crash here, but that'll come to an end too. But at least I won't have to work if I don't want to. Like
no,
so many people have to work. And I think that's a big problem in like the medical field right now too. These people are people are investing what 10 years of their life to go to school to become a doctor, and then basically they're like, hey, maybe we don't agree with what's going on right now, and they're like, oh, you don't agree, okay, then you're canceled as a doctor, we're going to revoke your license. And now they're like, okay, how am I supposed to pay off $200,000 worth of my school debt? And so they're basically like, okay, we're going to do whatever you tell us. Like I feel like doctors are prisoners these days now because of that.
I agree completely. It's you're right. Doctors of like any type, psychology, physical doctors, it's like they have to adhere to the standard because it's so regulated. And like you said, they give up so much, like not even like money. Yes, they give up a lot of money, but then like 10 years of their life to schooling or something. And it's like when you give up that 10 years, it's like you're not going to risk anything after that.
Yeah.
and you're only going to be making money in one way, and that's by doing, your medical practice in a
Hmm.
hospital. And
Yep.
so you have to listen to them.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
you don't really get your free speech when you're a doctor anymore. And I think that's like one of the biggest corrupted fields in the world right now. I think it's pretty clear to see.
what makes you say that?
Uh, I don't know. You get like all these psychological doc or psych doctors that are like all they do is, what's your problem? Type it in. All right, here's these pills. And they're getting pills from big pharma, and big pharma is giving them all these kickbacks. It's uh, to Taiwan, they have national health care there. So I was paying maybe like $20 a month
Wow.
for my health insurance, which is great. And then like to see the doctor for any reason, it was like $6. Uh, so it's just like super cheap. Then you go and you're like, hey, I have a cough, and they're like, okay, and they'd give you a bag of like 10 different pills for one day, and then you get like 4 days worth. So you'd have like a million pills, and I'd be like, it's all in Chinese. I'm like, what? I go home, start Googling everything. Like, what am I taking? Like, I don't even know what I'm taking. And you really have to be your own doctor, because I don't know, I'm not trying to take a goodie bag full of pills every time I have a little, cough or something.
Yes, dude. I mean, I hope our generation is more aware of the, you know, things that come out of medicine, because it used to be just no questions asked, do what your doctor says, take whatever
Mm,
he's given you, whatever the prescription is. But like, I'm on your boat. I don't want to take like whatever's being prescribed, every antibiotic that I'm told to take, every single
yeah,
opiate. It's, unnecessary.
yeah.
And
I quit drinking, and like the first week I quit drinking, it was like I had insomnia for 4 days straight, and it was like really bad, like scary insomnia, where like felt like demons were visiting me and stuff like that. And so I went to the doctor. I was like, "This is what's going on. I can't sleep. I'm getting cold sweats." And uh, she was like, "Okay," gave me some stuff, and then like gave me Xanax to help me sleep. And I was like, "I'm not gonna take Xanax." Because I think being in Orange County, a lot of my friends abused Xanax and really ruined their lives with that stuff. So I knew better than that. But they were like, "Oh, you got a headache? Xanax. You got this? Xanax." I'm like, "What?"
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy culture. When did you quit alcohol?
It's been about 6 months now.
Wow.
Yeah, I've quit for 3 years before. After I graduated college. That was a journey of itself. I quit for like 3 years. And then I picked it up again, and then I quit in Taiwan for 3 months at one point, and then I picked it up again, and then the last 6 months I quit.
What was the reason you've quit the most recent time?
Um, hmm, it gets worse and worse every time. We had like a camping festival on the beach for like I was there for like 4 or 5 days, and it was just a bender. Like drank so much to where the last day it was like I got back to my friend's house to the city and was just so uncomfortable. Like my body was in so much pain. Uh, Alcohol really messes up my stomach, and obviously it's like horrible for your gut health, and your gut produces what, like 90% of your serotonin, something like that. So it's like, how am I ever going to be healthy or happy if I'm just poisoning my stomach over and over and over? And also like I get super skinny because as soon as I drink alcohol, like I don't eat, and then even the next day I can't eat. So it's like it's pretty bad for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. So 6 months you've been sober?
I wouldn't say sober, I would say off the
Oh,
alcohol.
oh, off alcohol.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I mean, alcohol kind of can suck.
Alcohol is the worst, but I mean, I'm not gonna preach sobriety to anyone because
No.
there's so many people that can drink and have like such a good time and it doesn't affect their life at all. And then there's people like me that are just like the worst guy, you know, when you drink. So it's like, I don't know, I can be super fun too, but I can also get really mean and just like kind of ruin my life. So for me, it's right for me. And that kind of also like kind of changed my life in Taiwan too, because you know, when you're going out and having fun and drinking all the time, everything's good, you know, everything feels fine. But then I stopped drinking and basically it was like, whoa, all my friends do is drink. I don't really want to hang out with them anymore. And then I was like, why would I move to Taipei if all they're going to be doing is drinking? And then it was just like, it completely changed my path, I think, like quitting again.
Oh, wow.
You know,
You think that played a pretty big part in you not getting
for for
a
sure.
condo?
Like the first time I quit drinking in Taiwan, I did about 3 months. That was actually when I paid off all my college debt because I was like so focused. Like it really, my values like come straight to the forefront when I quit. I think I avoid myself when I drink. And so like last time I quit, it was like, okay, what do I want from life? And I was like, I don't really want to teach it. Like, I don't know, I was kind of at a lost like phase. And I asked one of my best friends from here, and I was like, hey, you got any advice? And he just told me, he's like, follow your greatest excitement. And I just thought, like, what excites me? Like teaching. And I just realized like teaching doesn't excite me anymore. It did, but now it doesn't. And then I thought like, well, working in festivals always excited me.
Nice.
So I'm like stoked I get to do that next week. It is cool because like I talked to my mom that same night and she told me, she's like, what excites you? And I was like, oh my God, people keep asking me the same question. And I haven't even asked myself that in a while. I think that's so important to be like, because, you know, why are we living if we're not excited about what we're doing?
Absolutely. It's a it's that's a great question. And I don't ask myself it enough, and most people I think don't ask them it enough because we're just trying to skate by, not really commit too much or like work too hard, but it it really makes life better if we can be excited and love what we're
Yeah.
doing.
It's like, what do you need to be happy? And it's like, okay, that it's like, then why don't you just do that? A lot of people are too concerned about like making money or like, I know my dad's, what he always reminds me of, it's like, you know, sometimes all this stuff is just means to an end. And I'm like, why not just enjoy it while you're doing it though? Like,
Yes.
that's been one of my biggest struggles in finding a job. It's like, what am I going to do that pays me, but also I don't want to blow my brains out
Yes.
because
And
that's
that's a
important.
real thing. Like, there's a lot of issues with um, you know, Americans and a lot of health issues, a lot of mental health issues in America. And I think a big part of it is like not just being stoic in this 9 to 5 work your ass off in corporate life. You
Hmm.
get your medical insurance, make sure that you're covered, go to your doctor, just do all that. I think that that can like that whole thing plays a part in this, all of it all connects
Hmm.
back together.
Yeah. And that's like actually one of the most beautiful things about Taiwan was it was like you work about 20 hours a week, maybe like 4 hours a day. And here we're working like 40 to 60 hours a week. So if you don't believe that you should be working your whole life in terms of like wake up, go to work, maybe after work, go to the gym and then go to sleep, you know, that's not the life for you. Like it's such a great opportunity. Like, especially, I think it's like a creator's paradise. Like if you're a musician or an artist or whatever you want to do, it's such a beautiful place to be because it's like, okay, go teach. You still have more money to save. Like the lifestyle there is so cheap. So you're like saving money. Your apartment can be huge and nice and still save money. And then it's like, but really where you're getting rich is in your time. And if you want to start a
Yes.
business, if you want to day trade, you want to do crypto, whatever you want to do, like it's a great place to be because you're not spending your whole waking day at work.
And I think it's really important. 8 hours is really long to be in an office.
Oh
Five
yeah.
days a week is a lot of days out of the week. And,
Yeah.
I work
Most people
from,
are scraping by with that.
yes, yes. It's not like we're experiencing a lot of freedom. We're like scared to lose these, opportunities that like really hold us back significantly.
No, it's not life.
No, it's not. It's not an enjoyable life. I'm glad like, you know, you got to experience that 4 hours work life. Work from home helps a lot too, because now the commute is taken out.
Mm,
And like I used to have to come home to make dinner, and now I can make like lunch on a break instead and just
mm.
save some time in the evening. But it's real. Like the 9 to 5 struggle and like mental health and physical health and trying to balance that all out. We need to get somewhere and
Yeah, the
stop.
work-life balance is huge.
It's huge. And stop like, you know, championing overworking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm a baller. I grind so hard. I work 4 jobs. It's like that's cool if you like doing what you work.
Yes.
Like that's super cool. But if you're like, I go to work and I hate it all, like that's just not a life for me at least.
No. And even
But
for
then
that
again,
person.
there's a lot of people that like the means to an end thing is like really real for them. It doesn't bother them that much. Like I have a lot of friends from college that are like buying houses now and driving nice cars, and their job to them, they're like, it's whatever, it just pays the bills. Like they don't care that much. Then there's people like me who are like, I can't live like this. Like I'll go nuts. Like, and there's
Yes.
a lot of people like that or that are like awake enough to realize like this isn't life. I can't live like this.
Yes. What
So
what do you think you want out of life moving forward?
what do I want? My dream job is stay-at-home dad.
Nice. You have to
Yeah, I
find a good wife.
for sure. Well, the dream is like because I think nowadays with like roles reversing, like women can be bosses and women have that drive to be like, fuck, I don't need no man. I'm gonna be the boss. I'm like, all right, for sure, do that. And like, but these women still want to have kids, but they don't
Yes.
have the time to raise them, then you need a man like me who's like, yeah, I want to do this. And because I love kids and also I want to be there every step of the way to watch my kid grow up and be able to shape them into the man and women they'll become. But then again, it's like I'll also have that freedom and like stress, like stress-free time to like also work on whatever creative projects I'm doing. Like I want to be a
Yes.
creator. I don't know what it is, but like I need that time. Like if I'm working 9 to 5, then you come home and you have to cook and like do all this stuff. It's not realistic. But
No.
if you're taking care of the kids, send them to school, and I'm like, oh, cool. Now I got 6 hours to work on whatever my business, work on my art, work on my music, like whatever it is. But yeah, but that's also down the line for me. So I also have to figure out what can I do right now to put myself into that position uh, to be a desirable mate for that partner. I can't just show up and be like, "Where are the rich girls at?"
Yeah, straight up. Oh man.
They also want a man in power, whether it's financial or just like how they hold themselves. So my life is really just me trying to become the best partner and best man I can become for that person.
Wow. That was really well said. And I think that's a great spot to end it.
Yeah.
Greg, do you have any last words that you'd like to say for the audience?
No, I think do what excites you and don't do it just because that's what everyone else is doing.
Nice. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.